Life doesn't always announce the moment when everything begins to change. It happens quietly, like a small spark hidden inside an ordinary day. Most people never notice that spark because they're too busy surviving to live. But for one young man named Ayan, today would be different. Ayan stood at the edge of his small apartment window, watching the city move faster than his dreams. Every car, every face, every noise reminded him of how far behind he felt. He had always believed his time would come someday, but someday had started to feel like never, and deep inside a voice kept whispering the same question: if not now, then when? He was tired of feeling stuck, tired of waiting for a perfect moment that never arrived. Life kept demanding courage from him, but he kept giving excuses instead. And today, he finally realized that excuses never built a future. Only decisions do. So he took one long breath and promised himself something he had never dared to say before. He whispered, "My time starts today." It felt strange, powerful, and unfamiliar. But it was the spark he had been missing for years. Ayan had always carried memories heavier than his own ambitions. His failures, once small, had grown into giants that followed him everywhere. They whispered reminders of every mistake he made. And he believed them because fear is always louder than hope. He remembered the exams he failed, the opportunities he missed, and the dreams he never chased. He remembered how people expected him to be realistic, as if dreaming big was a crime. And worst of all, he remembered how he slowly began to believe he wasn't meant for greatness. That memory hurt more than any failure ever could. But today felt different. Something inside him refused to let the past continue writing his future. He realized that every successful person had a long list of failures behind them. So why did he treat his own failures like a final sentence? It became clear that the only thing stopping him was the story he kept telling himself, and stories can be rewritten. They can transform the weakest person into a warrior. All it takes is one brave decision. Ayan decided he would no longer wake up hoping for change. He would wake up creating it. Every morning would have a purpose, even if the purpose was small. He understood that transformation isn't a single moment but a daily choice. And today he chose growth. He started by fixing the things he had been avoiding. He cleaned his room, organized his thoughts, and wrote a list of goals he had buried inside his mind. They looked impossible at first, almost unrealistic. But he knew impossible simply meant not tried yet. Next, he replaced old habits with small, powerful routines. He read books, practiced discipline, and stopped wasting hours on things that gave him nothing in return. Painfully, he cut out negativity from his environment. It hurt at first, but it healed him later. The more he worked, the more he discovered something surprising. Success wasn't distant. It was hiding behind consistency. Motivation wasn't enough. Habits were the real game changer. And step by step, Ayan began to rise. But no journey is complete without battles, and Ayan's greatest battle was against his own mind. Doubt returned often, reminding him he was still the same person he had been yesterday. Fear tried to convince him he would fail again. And the past tried to pull him back into old patterns. Some days felt like progress, and some days felt like punishment. On the hardest days, he questioned whether his dreams were worth the pain. He wondered if success was for other people, not him. But then he remembered, comfort never created heroes. He learned to talk back to his fears. He reminded himself that growth feels like discomfort because it is stretching you into someone new. Slowly the voice of fear lost its power, and the voice of purpose grew louder. Ayan discovered that strength doesn't come from winning battles. It comes from fighting them even when losing feels easier, and each time he didn't quit, he won. Even if the world didn't see it yet. There came a morning when Ayan woke up and felt something unfamiliar. Clarity. He finally understood the direction his life needed to take. His dreams were not random wishes. They were calling him for a reason. And ignoring them was no longer an option. He began building his skills with focus and obsession. He studied harder than ever before and practiced more than he thought possible. Every day he pushed his limits, even when no one believed in him. Especially when no one believed in him. The world around him remained the same, but he wasn't the same anymore. He walked differently, spoke differently, and thought differently. Confidence replaced hesitation. Purpose replaced confusion. For the first time in his life, he wasn't waiting for opportunities. He was preparing for them. And preparation is the birthplace of success. Ayan finally understood that his time wasn't coming, it was being built. Just when everything seemed to be improving, life tested him again. He faced setbacks that made him question his progress. He lost a job opportunity he thought he deserved. And old doubts tried to return stronger than ever. But this time Ayan didn't break. He had learned too much to fall back into old habits. Instead of giving up, he doubled his effort. Instead of crying, he strategized. He understood something powerful. Setbacks are not signs to quit, but signs to prepare better. Every failure was simply redirecting him to something bigger. And he embraced the struggle with a stronger heart. Because he finally trusted himself. Commitment is tested when results are delayed. And Ayan passed that test. He showed up every day, even when nothing changed. That consistency became his superpower. Then one normal evening, everything shifted. He received a message that opened a door he had been knocking on for years. Someone finally noticed his work, his effort, and his dedication. His little progress suddenly attracted a big opportunity. Ayan felt a rush of emotions: relief, joy, disbelief. But he knew this wasn't luck. It was the result of every night he worked while others slept. It was the reward for refusing to quit. He accepted the opportunity with gratitude and confidence. This was the moment he had been preparing for. This was the moment he once prayed for. And now it was finally happening. Success didn't feel like a surprise, it felt like justice. It felt like the universe finally acknowledged his effort. His time had finally arrived. Ayan stood in front of the mirror the next morning, seeing a different man. Not because life magically changed, but because he changed himself. He realized the greatest victory was becoming the person he once dreamed of being. And that victory was earned one decision at a time. He understood that time never waits for anyone. It only rewards those who take action. And all his life, he had been waiting for the right moment. But the truth was simple. The right moment was the moment he decided to start. His story became a reminder for everyone who felt stuck. A reminder that your past does not have the authority to control your future. A reminder that growth is painful, but quitting is permanent. And a reminder that your dreams are waiting for you to believe in them. So if you are listening to his story today, remember this. Your time is not tomorrow. Your time is not someday. Your time is now, and the next chapter of your life begins the moment you decide to begin.